Alright everybody, we are back with some more round of 16. This time it is going to be this guy against Chase, who looks like they are erroneously played a best of 7. I think that happened a little bit. I think some players were confused about round of 16 being best of 7. It was actually best of 5, but not a big deal. The round of 8s will be a best of 7. But we will just honor the best of 7. Doesn't really matter. If that's what the players agreed to, then there it is. Cool. Let's hop into this. Alright, on the left-hand side, we've got Chase, and his opponent, this guy. I'm really excited for this match. I feel like these two are very evenly matched here. Chase is a player that has gotten pretty good recently, has been around for a little while in the scene, but had really good performance last season. Did Chase make it a round of 4? I know they did good. I think they got better than round of 16. Let me double check. I have that information. Yeah, Chase made it to the round of 8. Did he make it to the quarterfinals? I don't see that super handy. Let me know. Yeah, I think he did, right? Wasn't it Chase versus R22? Man, I'd have to look. Anyways, did really good last season. And then, of course, this guy has always kind of been a premier level player, one of the best in the game. Has been around forever. Hasn't quite taken a championship yet, I do not believe. So one of those people, kind of like Deep Sea, that definitely could do it at any time and definitely deserve it. It just hasn't happened for them yet. This guy being a little bit of a weirdo here with this mill. Kind of feigning our version of a cannon rush, like a turret rush, but doesn't actually have any of that kind of stuff in his deck, so being a little bit of a goofball here, trying to throw Chase off. Yeah, Chase is definitely like one of the up-and-comers. It's like Chase and Evil Murloc. And Floor, too. Floor has been playing really well lately, so it's cool to see these folks that have been in the scene for a long time, but have kind of always been like intermediate level players, like really breaking into kind of what we would consider some of the premier Tooth and Tail players. So, okay, it looks like it's going to be Raccoon versus Skunk here. Second base up and running for both players. No farms on them just yet. Good studious scouting from both sides. This guy's doing a really great job keeping on top of what's going on. Does have the Raccoons, so going to be feeling the pressure to keep his units outside of his territory a little bit. Get that extra food from the Raccoon. I do feel like I repeat this a lot, but if you are like a YouTube viewer, not sure about the Raccoon, it's basically just a big squirrel. But every time it gets, every time it's outside of the territory, it's getting money at the rate of 1/4 a farm. So 4 raccoons standing outside of your territory is pretty much an extra farm. And on top of that, yeah, just think of them like a big tier 2 squirrel. All right. Needs to be careful. This is the danger of playing with raccoons, though, is these raccoons are out trying to get that extra food. And gonna take some chip damage from Chase. Don't die, which is good for this guy. But Chase is going to fall back. Okay, Raccoon looks like killed a squirrel or two on the retreat there. And this guy is starting to get the monetary advantage. However, Chase is gearing up for a big attack. And this guy is going to be a little worried when he scouts the base, only sees 1 farm and a ton of tier 1 Warrens. So I think Chase is just going to wait for his toads and going to move out. Maybe, yeah, build some, I like this, build some farms on the back end. Just be like, okay, if this attack doesn't work, I'm not going to be a million miles behind on farms. But this is good. I think Chase has a decent army advantage right now. And is going to try to leverage that into some damage. Let's see how well this guy can defend. He does have skunks. He does have a pretty defendable base. Just as far as like the walls and the angles and whatnot. No pigeons here. The pigeons would really help in this kind of chip damage situation. Chase is going to decide to not risk it. Does that come home and build a fox? He is. Love to see it. Alright, the question is, will this guy scout the fox? And at this point, it's a little, like, it's going to be hard to tell that 180 food is missing. It's more just counting farms. Okay, this guy is getting a decent scout path here, but is not going to be able to make it all the way into that corner. The wolf is down too, though. The wolf was actually placed before the fox, so I think the fox might have been in response to the wolf. And I am worried about Chase. I mean, I think I would rather, as much of a fox lover as I am, I think I would rather be piloting this guy's deck at the moment. The raccoon cam wolf buff, I think, is going to just be stronger than the fox. The fox is a really hard unit to kind of make work in the current meta. You know, it wants time to kind of chip away at the opponent, you know, snipe a falcon, snipe a farm, harass over time, build up value. That's just not the way Tooth and Tail is generally played. You know, if somebody sees you have a fox, they can kind of just go in with stronger units, right, and beat you. So to really make the fox work, you got to have some defense. You got to maybe pair it with another tier 3, like Wolf Fox is awesome together, actually, or Boar Fox I've seen lately as well. But in this situation, I am worried. I think this guy's army is going to be way stronger. But if for some reason Chase doesn't die, the fox is going to be amazing in between the big battles. Let's see, the fox is a little late to the game, but is showing up now. A couple skunks and falcons remain here for Chase. This fox has really got to put in some work, and it's starting to. Chase has quite a few tier 1s, so able to rebuild pretty fast. And yeah, look at this, the fox putting in some work. This is where the fox is really going to shine, just kind of in between the big engagements. I mean, it looks like Chase is going to continue to stay here on the front, sniping down that skunk. Fox continuing to hold strong at the moment. That cam almost taking it down. Oh, this is so sick. Alright. Economies are starting to dwindle. The main bases are totally fallowed outs. Chase getting one last shot on that pig. Now we're going to have to go home and sell some Warrens, decide what we want here. This guy's going to try to stick to that Cam Falcon. Or, I'm sorry, Cam Raccoon. I wonder if just going straight tier 1 might be a better option here. I guess Chase does have skunks. Yeah, the fox did just fine in that engagement. I think the turret did help. Some good micro from Chase as well, keeping most of his tier 2 units alive. And the skunk Falcon Fox kind of working together to beat the opponent on the tail end. Now, Chase mostly just defending the second base, but that's really what's the most important. I mean, it does stink to lose some of these Warrens, but if this guy's not hard engaging, the fox can pick some folks off. But here is a hard engage away from the turrets, and yeah, you can see that wolf buff army really just shredding through most of what Chase has. Gotta be careful with this fox here. 9 HP. Might want to just give it some time to heal up. Yeah, this is what I was worried about. I mean, the wolf is generally a stronger army at the moment. It also kind of negates one of the best things about the fox, which is the speed, because the wolf buff gives you the same speed as a fox. 1 HP! And I think this guy will eventually take this game here. The wolf buff raccoons with the pigeons healing them. And then Chase this fox down, and is that where Chase will tap out? It looks like it. GG! Very close game. Well done by this guy. Okay, let's get into match number 2. We've got Chase kind of spawning in the middle rights, and this guy on the left. I love Chase's deck here. I like both these decks a lot. The difference is Falcon for Pigeon. Pigeon is probably better. Like, I think maybe this guy has the better comp. I mean, the deck that if I'm kind of playing with is, like, what this guy has, except for instead of Raccoon, Falcon. So if you're playing against me in the bonus tournament, that is probably what I'm going to be running. I think moles would be really good in that comp too, though. But if you're gonna bring in the moles, I guess you got to get rid of the pigeons. I don't know, it's tough. Pretty big map here. Maybe that'll lead to a macro game. This is a nice pocket base for Chase. Or I'm sorry, for this guy. So I think that the temptation is too strong. Definitely going to be taking that. Yeah, that's like impossible to attack. Maybe like Cliff Abuse, but this is such a good choke. Like, this guy's spawn is just so good right here. This is great. Meanwhile, Chase's is a little bit worse, but honestly not that bad. Like, there's a second base there, and then you probably try to take the attack kind of here on this high ground in the middle. That's also kind of awkward for this guy to attack into, with the walling there and the water. So both bases are actually pretty defensible. I think this naturally... These bases down here, I don't know if they'll ever get taken. I feel like this is a two-base scheme. What is Chase doing? Chase is hiding some Falcons up here. Trying to hide the double tier 2 opening, and this guy is not going to see it. Meanwhile, Chase has scouted that second mill, but it's going to be really hard to count the farms on this. However, I mean, this cliff right here is abusable by Falcons. I don't know if the Falcons would be in range to hit the mill itself. They actually might be. We're definitely going to kill a lot of pigs there. This guy's coming in again. Okay, I was wondering if they're going to keep scouting. So the raccoons will take out this cabin. That's going to be great. That is an extra farm for the price of not having to build a mill. So I think Chase will be more than happy to take that. Especially in one-base games, that campfire can really make a big difference. It's a 12% increase for your economy. Both players with raccoons here. This guy's raccoons are a little exposed. Chase is going to come in for an attack, and attacking into the main base is actually not that hard. He's got a pretty good angle. Pigeon's here to help heal. Hiding that second tier 2, though, I wonder if it's going to pay off. He comes in. He does have kind of the tech advantage, but plenty of squirrels here. Plenty of pigeons to help heal. So Chase decides to not risk it too much. Wonder if they're going to sell off this forward Warren. No, they're going to continue to go for it. Applying some pressure. Chase would like to try to see if there's a tier 3, how many farms are over here. Does confirm it's just one farm. Needs to be careful though, his unit's starting to get harassed on the front, and that's a very exposed Warren. Could help tank a little bit of damage. But Warren HP is so low. In this game, you really don't want to be doing that. A lot of the skunk gas, Chase doing a really good job of staying out of the skunk gas. That was pretty impressive. And the Falcons here are going to gun down. Yeah, that was really good movement from Chase. Pushing this guy back for now. This guy is starting to position again. I think Chase's army is starting to look a little better, though. The 4 raccoons from this guy. Again, really wanting to try to keep those out of his territory, so they can get that extra food. And this guy did just go back row up, by the way, on the back end. He just threw down 3 more farms on that second base. Second base on the way for Chase as well. So, these two realize... No, Chase getting a good scout. So we'll see. Oh yeah, huge investment there from this guy. So, Chase needs to go follow suit. But it's going to be hard. I mean... That was really well done by this guy. It is so hard to, like, fit in those farms while there's been constant aggression and stuff. And now Chase is in a tough spot trying to save up money for these farms. Like, if this guy just takes an engagement, even if it's not the best engagement, but he gets Chase's money locked into rebuilding units, he's not going to be able to keep up on economy. But Chase is going to go for it here. And maybe he's just got a big enough advantage from this guy maybe building a couple too many farms. Oh my god, yeah. This guy was trying to proxy a bunch of Warrens there. Absolutely disaster. And Chase is going to tie it up 1-1. Yeah, I think building all of those farms is a little too greedy. This guy just needed to keep peppering them in. But that is such a hard thing to do. It really is. Find that balance. All right. Game number 3. And keep in mind, they did play a best of 7, which we will respect. But it was supposed to be a best of 5. In the bottom left, it's Chase. And in the top right, it is this guy. And we're in the desert this time around. Nice little river here. Pretty short rush distance map. Pretty even map. I'm curious who I'd rather spawn in as. Maybe this guy. I don't know, because it's like, this guy's second. I mean, he's got the options, right? But this base, whenever he takes it, either base 2 or 3, is going to become the line of scrimmage, where Chase can kind of defend right here in this big open space before the attacks come into any of his mills. And he probably would want the attack to come into the main base anyways. That's generally the mill you'd like to lose the most as the game goes on. It's going to have the most HP. It's going to be mostly farmed out. But this guy does get to 12 o'clock if the game goes super, super late. He's also got this extra cabin over here, which he could take pretty sneakily. This guy going to start with like a 7-farm cam? Interesting. I wonder how this math is going to work out just perfectly. Pretty close. Nice. So this Chase actually deciding to go full squirrels after seeing the fast tier 2. Luckily enough for him, it was not a skunk. But most people don't open skunk, right? Like if you're gonna go tier 2 first, it's generally cam or raccoon. Because those are the units you can kind of like esports around with. Look at this from Chase, man. Already on top of this cam. Ooh, this is a little scary. Squirrels are good. Like, you can't underestimate squirrels, man. 9 squirrels right now. But oh man, that is a great defense from this guy, however. Keeps the cam alive. Kills a couple squirrels. Chase is gonna have to come back. Yeah, snake first, says Cold. Warp gates in the chat. Definitely also a possibility. Yeah, I don't know if this is gonna work. Another really, really good engagement for this guy. Keeping both those cams alive. Absolutely disaster here for Chase. I think that really was an engagement thing, right? Like, the units, again, as I was talking about earlier, they were a little clumped up. They didn't all quite have their tiles. Like, that kind of thing is super important in Tooth and Tail. Like, if that was the same engagement, but Chase, like, had the high ground and had, like, his feet firmly planted, and then could, like, bam, like, volley down the cam 1, volley down the cam 2, like, that would have been totally different. This guy should just kind of win the game here. I mean, I hate to be an anticlimactic caster, but he won those 2 attacks by such large margins. And the Skunk Pigeon really gives him this opportunity to just force Chase to engage, as you can see here, because if he doesn't, then the Skunks will eventually just kill the pigs. The Skunk kind of acting like a siege unit here. Yeah, Chase is on a clock. I mean, pigs are dying. And this guy is more than happy to just sit here and kill the pigs for free. This guy also, famously one of the better skunk players. Doing such a good job with this pre-gas. Should have the cams a little higher up, but should be okay. And unfortunately for Chase, like, it just doesn't matter anymore. I mean, he's just way too far behind. He's losing pigs. He's losing Warrens. And GG, this guy takes game number 3. All right. Let's keep going. Match number 4. Chase in the bottom, and this guy up top. Badger this time around for this guy. Meanwhile, Chase keeping with this kind of Wolf Tier 2 base deck. Decently sized map here, but looks can be deceiving. It's actually not... It's actually a very short rush distance map, right? Especially with the road. So this map could kind of lull you into wanting to play a macro game, but then, yeah, just getting ran over. Honestly, this does not look like a good macro map for me for Chase. Like, this second base is absolutely a disaster. Like, being on the low ground like that is so brutal. This base is kind of awkward to get to with the ramping and the walls. Like, if there's like a way to get like there to it, that'd be nice. But granted, Chase could take all 3 of these and like plant his feet here. Meanwhile, it looks a lot better for this guy. If you wanted to get into a second base, I'm pretty happy with that one. But again, I mean, it's a short map. I would be concerned about aggression. Both players going for tier 2 first. Raccoon for Chase, this guy getting the cam. And we'll have to see from here. I would be surprised to see Gristmill's taken. It's just a little too awkward. I hope Chase finds this cabin in the back. That'll definitely help him. Yeah, he knows about it. That's exactly the kind of mission you want to send 2 raccoons on, to go take that out. Trying to get a nice throw. Scout here is Chase. Gonna come back. Are we building another tier 2? He is. And needs to move the raccoon out. However, the cam could potentially snipe him, but the cam just defending the second base for this guy. This base makes sense. Yeah, and already this guy trying to push the raccoon back into its territory. Chase has got to assume a chameleon's up there. Skunk on the way, so Chase just evolving into some tier 2. Well, this guy took a second base. This guy's also a macro player, like really wants to farm up. If given the opportunity, would do a 16 farm handshake agreement. And Chase does see it. So Chase has to decide, does he begrudgingly take one of his mills that are in kind of awkward spots, or does he try to just, you know, rally the boys and punish this guy for his greed? And that seems to be the option here. He's got a good army put together. Skunk Raccoon with a handful of squirrels, I think should do pretty good in this engagement. Let's see. It's going to depend a little bit on the angles here. And this guy getting a much better angle. Chase trying to kite back. Doing a good job kiting back. Needs to keep their raccoons alive. One goes down. The other one goes down as well. However, this guy lost his chameleons. Chase pushing forward, starting to break the line, but is it enough to actually get any damage done on the second base? The farms are pretty nicely protected there in the back, and with all the tier 1 from this guy, he is able to re-rally a lot of squirrels pretty quickly to the defense. However, the skunk's standing strong, but now that the chameleon's here, I think Chase has just got to run away. Chase is going to continue up. Ooh, gets that. Okay, gets a little more chip damage on that camp. New raccoons are starting to join the party. This guy trying to drag the cam through. And then once the squirrels catch up, have to fire. Oh, but this guy's commander goes down. And that's going to allow Chase to get some good victories here. However, keep in mind that this guy is still farming on those two extra farms. So has the economic advantage. Can afford to take some bad trades a little bit. However, the chameleons are now supply blocked. Okay, the tier 2 is starting to fall for Chase. Yeah, we're not going to see another cam for a while, especially if these squirrels keep dying. And Chase is making a little bit of extra money from the raccoons. Ooh, 1 HP on that raccoon. There's no water here to help them heal faster. But he's going to bring him back into the territory, get that extra healing, and re-rally, and I think take a second base. So I wonder who's ahead. I mean, I feel like Chase has been taking better fights. But again, keep in mind, this guy, much better economy now that we're past the 5-minute mark. 6 farms to 4. I like the idea of just trying to harass the skunks. Chase still looking for blood this game. Chase did end up getting caught up on the farm count. We might have a little bit of a lull this game, so I'll do a little fast forwarding. This guy kind of feigning some cam micro, trying to keep Chase worried. All right, Chase looking for another attack. As this guy is trying to get his farm count back up. Good defense here from this guy. One of the cams does live, that one skunk at 1 HP. So one tier 2 died for both sides, but yeah, you can see, again, this guy's just better positioned squirrels, playing defense. Makes a really big difference. And this guy feeling like he won that attack handily enough to try to come in for a counter. We are in the position where every unit counts, and this guy pouncing on the second base. 1 farm goes down, 2 farms go down. Chase is now starving. Oh, this is gonna be so close. Chase coming in for the counter attack. Yeah, Chase's units being a little bit out of position there might just have been the game for this guy. Really good instinct to just jump on that second base, get those farms for free. Took a pretty good trade too. That's gonna be it. Chase going down. This guy going up 3-1. Which would normally be the series here, but they decided to play a best of 7. So we will honor that and truck on to game number 5. All right, Chase in the bottom, and this guy in the top rights. Okay, decent map. Definitely better for Chase if it goes long, but generally, modern Tooth and Tail does not tend to go long. Generally 2 bases, sometimes a third. This guy has a nice little second base. Technically a little cliff abusable, but I mean, that cliff is like in his base, right? So he really shouldn't let Chase's units get that close to him. Meanwhile, Chase, yeah, can't really complain too much. Got a nice second base right there. Kind of pushing the point of contention about right here for his side of the map. And yeah, we'll just have to let this one breathe for a minute. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in live. It's always fun to stream on Sundays with you guys. Thanks for everybody who's watching this on YouTube. So far, the tournament is on track. We got all the round of 16 games done in time. You only have 1 week for your round of 8 games. So if you're in the round of 8, do not delay. Try to get those games scheduled as soon as possible. And we are on track for our targeted grand finals date of July 5th. Should be a great addition to the July 4th weekend. I've been invited to a July 4th party. I'm very excited. I love July 4th. It's one of my favorite holidays. American Independence Day. It's just fun to drink some beer and eat some hot dogs and shoot off some fireworks. Alright, second base is being taken from both sides. Pretty mirror game so far. This guy is a little bit in the lead on development. He's got that farm thrown down. But shouldn't matter too much. Jake's going to be able to come home, probably throw down 2 farms. Is what I would do. And this is the classic This Guy. Really wanting to get that economy flourishing. And going to commit to several farms here on the second base. Will Chase see it? Chase does. Let's see how Chase wants to respond. I think the safest thing is, yeah, exactly, like try to get up to 5 farms. I think you always just want to stay like 1 farm ahead. And this guy trying to get all the way up to 16. Did Chase see that? No. Chase has a nice little secondary scouting. That's second base though, yeah, through this line, exactly. So he's gonna do that now. Gonna get a guaranteed vision on that farm count. And really needs to just copy, I think. You just kind of have to get to 16 farms yourself. And there's the Badger. So this guy had 15 farms, but is up a pair of tier 2. Let's start harassing. This guy also has skunks. Skunk Falcon can be powerful. Neither side has pigeons, at least built. Both of them have them in the deck. This harassment should net Chase some farms here. Chase is floating a lot of food, though. And, yeah, this guy's taking some damage, but he's not taking critical damage. And the Badger is on the way. Not quite paid for yet. But good harassment from Chase. Chase actually doesn't have a tier 3 at all. And those farms are kind of frustrating to lose because they're really just not worth rebuilding at this point. So not only did Chase get the 60 food of the pigs, you kind of also think that he got like all the rest of the food on these patches, right? If this guy never ends up retaking them. So the Badger is bought and paid for. This guy working on rounding out his army. Chase never taken that last farm. I wonder if that's intentional. Sometimes players will miss that farm that's like behind the gristmill like that. Could also be a starvation farm, but I doubt it. We've got plenty of other mills if we come down to that, and generally starvation farms are not part of the meta anymore. Used to have to leave a spare farm because games would kind of stalemate based on like the owl and balloon metas and stuff. So sometimes it would come down to who is going to starve out, right? So you leave that starvation farm to get an extra 5 minutes. So Chase is not going to be happy seeing the Badger. I don't think he ever scouted it. Yeah, he did eventually scout it. Still going to be tough for Chase. No good anti-Badger units here, no snakes or anything like that. The Badger is getting a little too into action for a second there. But a lot of the supporting units starting to fall. I still feel like this is favorable for this guy. He probably just wants to let the Badger heal for a minute. Before he comes back in. Also has a Falcon advantage at the moment. This is starting to look pretty bad for Chase. The fight is at his second base, and several of the farms have already gone down. A lot of times, a way to beat a Badger can be killing all the supporting units. Like, don't try to target the Badger unless you have, like, snakes or something. You want to kill everything else and leave the Badger alone. But I think that's going to be it. This guy's going to take it. 4-2-1.